They tried to kill me. They failed. But I will have my revenge.
Hello and welcome to Legacy of the Shadow Lord, this Holocron Entries podcast, where we'll be breaking down and discussing each and every episode of Star Wars Maul, Shadow Lord, the brand new series on Disney Plus, the first one we've had in a little while. My name's Don Blight, and joining me to discuss these episodes, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here to talk about how impractical double-sided lightsabers are.
I don't know about that.
Listen, every single time he shows up out of the ship, he only ignites one side.
Yeah, but then when he's in
but
the
then he
open,
eventually does the other side, you know?
Yeah. So is it impractical? Like he has options. You don't.
It's not threatening, you know?
The other lightsabers don't
because
have
the only way you can show it off, you have to hold it all the way out in front of you.
I mean, it's as threatening as a normal lightsaber, which is only lit up on one side, you know?
I mean, you can't treat it like an extendable. No, it doesn't matter.
Why not? So the show's dropped. It's releasing in 2 episodes per week batches, all the way up until May the 4th, where the last 2 episodes were released. It's 10 episodes in a run. So this week we're discussing the first 2, which are titled Dark Revenge and Sinister Schemes. What did you make of the premiere episodes of this new animated series?
Yeah, I thought it was a solid introduction to this, world and that kind of stuff. I do feel like, I'm missing some context. Like, it's definitely a show that maybe you feel like you missed doing some homework because they just drop you in the middle of the situation. And, if you're going into this and your only reference point for Maul is the first movie, I don't think you're going to easily grasp. There's obviously a lot of references to the past and his stuff that he did during the Clone Wars and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it so far. I think the animation they've definitely gone up a notch with their style and that kind of stuff with the animation. I'm enjoying all of the action sequences and that kind of stuff. They look really great. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I just think it's a pretty solid opening so far. So I'm waiting to see how it ratchets it up.
Yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I think it's out of the gate. We're already I thought they would spend all season very slowly introducing a lot of the crime lords that he wants to get revenge on, and then spending more time getting to him dealing with them as we went along the whole series. So 2 episodes in, we're already just killing them all off. So to me, that's already proven what I thought the series would be going for pacing wise, to be so much faster, which I'm sort of shocked at, especially after how the Bad Batch really dragged out a lot of the elements, took a long time getting to where it was going a lot of time. So just already out here episode 1, introducing people. No, here's the plan. I'm like, okay, this will take a few episodes to get to. No, here's it. They're dead. This dude's captured. Well, no, we're getting him next episode. We're not even waiting to episode 4 to get to that. We're just... So to me, that's all moving along. It is moving along at a much faster pace than I thought it would be.
Is it though? Because the Bad Batch was a, bad guy of the week kind of show as well. So, you had, whatever mission they're going on, they finished it each week. This is like a linear storytelling show where it's there's a story.
Well, I didn't know going into it. I mean, they could have spent an episode mostly focusing on getting more introducing these characters and treating those as one-off things until we see them later kill off.
So the dropping you in the situation and not setting up all these characters.
Yeah, I think so. So. But yeah, I also agree that animation is very good. Obviously, a lot of the fight scenes and stuff are quite good. I enjoy the overall. It's got a very underworld, obviously, aspect to it, and I think it's the darkness lends itself to the type of story and characters that we're involved with running around with here, rather than going to more luxurious, pretty planets and stuff. It's just the whole. It's shadowy. fittingly, you know. So very much enjoying that. As far as like, do you need to your point of do you need to know and have watched the other Star Wars stuff? Obviously, yes, it would help, but I think there's an element of like I still think you could enjoy this just being dropped in and working out like and picking up the pieces as you go.
Not knowing what happened after he gets murdered in episode 1.
Well, maybe not that. I feel like you would have to have the context that you need enough context to know that he's survived and came back. But I think the element of like, what are your biggest things you feel like you're missing? Do you think?
Why is he with all these Mandalorians and other people? You know.
So that's because of you got the Siege of Mandalore. You watched that last season of Clone Wars.
I think so. I know I watched the last few episodes.
Yeah, so he was like leading up Death Squad and all that sort of stuff, and then then that's why Ahsoka and the other Mandalorians come down and like do the siege on Mandalore to like kick Maul out and take him, and then they capture him and everything like that. They dethrone him, but the people that are loyal to him then break him out and everything.
Were any of those characters from the Clone Wars? Could you tell? Of his crew.
I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember I presume, I haven't actually double checked, and it's whatever. I don't particularly care. It's fine. But I presume the girl is from, or I don't know. Even if she's not, it's fine. Whatever. But there's no one prominent that's other than her on the screen. So if she ain't from the Clone Wars and wasn't seen at some point with him, then whatever. You know. And then as to the crime squad stuff, none of them came and helped him during that element. It's as simple as that. He's blaming them for his loss of throne, more or less. He spent all that time building. He built a little connection between them and stuff. And then when he called for help, they didn't come. They left him dry. So that's sort of just it. You know? Simple as that. And now he's trying to rebuild his criminal empire again, which we know he will, because Crimson Dawn. So we're getting it. Because it's only a year after the Clone Wars this series takes place.
Yeah.
It's not years and years later or something. It's a year later. You know? So how should we go down? So Maul obviously introduced semi early in the series. You get the introduction of him and the fact he's using these droids and plans, and he's doing this. He's trying to move chess pieces to get the other criminal syndicates to sort of fight one another. We see in the first episode he's playing chess with them a little bit to see things play out. And then long term, I think obviously we know long term his goal is to get to Crimson Dawn and all that sort of stuff. But what do you make of the way he's moving? I think it shows him as being smart, not just this.
No, it looks like him being tactical and like having the planning for the long term. You know, it's like obviously his first mission is to turn them against each other rather than like actually take them out himself. So I think that's pretty telling. Like he's content being in the shadows, but he wants to get his revenge. I think he's quite happy to be the schemer, but also, you know, when push comes to shove, he's willing to light up his double-sided lightsaber and take all these bad guys, all these other bad guys out.
So we see him do that in the first episode, a little bit of playing chess and checkers with them. And then the other element we're introduced to is these new characters. So we meet a Twi'lek, what's the character name? Devon Azara. And her master is named Iko Daya Daki. So there. What did you make of these two new characters introduced as Master and Padawan, who obviously being in hiding for the years since the end of the Clone Wars? We first meet them and she's a little bit abrasive to she wants to do more, but he's trying to make sure they continue to live their very low profile, very, very, very low profile for obvious reasons, life. But she doesn't want to do that. And yeah, what do you make of these two characters in their introduction?
Well, one, Audio 66 continues to be not that efficient. Another set of Jedi who survived that. Yeah, I mean, it's very much the Padawan master relationship where he is still very much in belief of the Jedi principles. You know, he doesn't want to. I mean, the one thing, he's clearly starving, but he doesn't want to steal. And he believes that doing the right thing will lead to good outcomes, which is what gets her arrested in the first place, or accepting the arrest rather than, you know.
He's still running by the
Jedi
beliefs and morals.
Yeah, he still completely believes in the Jedi faith and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I enjoyed what we saw of him. I think he's got a really cool design. You know, unlike a lot of, I don't know, we've seen an alien quite like him. So, yeah, and then Devon, I think, is probably going to go through this interesting arc through this season. I think it's interesting that she recognizes Maul as Maul straight away. Whether that's they've had a past experience, like they encountered each other during the Clone Wars and he's completely unaware of it, or Maul was such a threat that he was known to a lot of Jedi in the Order.
Yeah, I would assume option B. I don't think they would have met. I think it's just a matter of passing words, hearing stuff like that, because like obviously Anakin and Obi-Wan came up against Maul during the Clone Wars once he came back, and he was already a known name because of him being the he would already be this big known name because, you know, during Phantom Menace he was the Sith, right? He's the first Sith that they see in however many years,
millennia.
you know, in a millennia or whatever. So Maul already would stand out, I'm sure, as like this big character person during like history point of view. But then of course he then makes a return during the Clone Wars and stuff. So I presume she just is very well aware of who he is. And then, you know, hearing about the Siege of Mandalore and all that, and knowing that he was there, because all the Jedi weren't involved in that. I'm sure it was still reported on and talked about. So, but yeah, I really like I think the interesting character. It's sort of very basic, sort of what you would expect between a Padawan and Jedi, but they're both. I'm keen to learn more about them both, especially obviously Devon, because Maul's, as we see at the end of the first episode, Maul's picked her out because he believes this is what he's after. He's after a new apprentice, and then this is trying to push her already, as we see in the second episode, to do things to escape for herself, to use her, you know, push her powers or whatever, you know, use the Force to break in. And we know he's going to try and push her more to come to the dark side. And then as he tells his, whatever that other character's name is, Maul says, you know, I need, like, with her, we can take down Sidious, because it's the whole, he's still running, but Maul, as much as he's not involved anymore, he's still running under the Sith rule of two thing, you know? So there must always be two, a master and apprentice. And I guess in his mind, if he's to take down his old master and then potentially take his place as the number one, you know, the Sith Lord, then he needs that. There must always be two, a master and an apprentice. So it's not the first time he's gone hunting for an apprentice in the show before. So, or in his life series. So it never turns out well for them. But
that Mandalorian, the main one, is Rook Cast, who does appear in the seventh season of
7 seasons. Yeah, so that would make sense. I assume she would have had to have been there, surely, because it's the only character they choose to have on screen constantly next to him and stuff. So. And then the other character we meet is Captain Brandon Lawson, who is basically, what does it actually say here? I had a thing up. Janix Police is what the official thing. Yep. So he's a captain for them. Very interesting character, I think, because it's we're used to in these series seeing the Empire, IBF, or
we don't see
whatever.
local law enforcement in Star
Not
Wars
often.
generally.
In Rebels, you do. You see Lothal law enforcement during some of their parts before, and then the Empire comes in and interjects and takes over and stuff like that. So this is, but not often, no. So this is good to see. I think just someone who's like, no, I'm trying to do things right, but also every time he's constantly asked by his droid, which is voiced by, and I don't Richard Ayoade, which I just don't particularly like him as voicing the droid. I don't know. It's just too human in his delivery. I think somewhat. But I'll get used to it. Yeah, maybe. But he obviously keeps asking, it's protocol to call in the Emperor and all this stuff. The Empire, which I'm sure it is, but he doesn't want them involved. And it seems to just be generally because, not that he's trying to do dodgy stuff on the side, like corrupt cops sort of thing, but he's well aware, it seems, or at least the way I'm taking it, that the Empire isn't riggy-diggy, and he knows if they come down and get involved in his affairs, they're going to do it their way, and their way particularly isn't going to be the best way. He's trying to do solid cop work and take down the bad guys his way. What do you make of this new character?
I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's interesting because clearly, Maul, it's kind of positioning him as like the protagonist of the show, interestingly, because he is like the one good guy in this whole setting of like crime lords and Sith and all that kind of stuff. He is the one person who wants to do the right thing, and yet I think Willie is set as the antagonist to the main character of the film, of the show. So I really liked him because again, it's different to a lot of the other law enforcement people we've seen. He's not automatically like aligned with the Empire. Wants to kind of do the right thing. There was he was willing to let her go if she was willing to provide some sort of information back and some leniency, but also he's willing to go out there and chase Maul down in what I assume was a garbage truck. Was the way that it was kind of displayed. So and obviously setting up his like family life and that kind of thing. I think he is probably going to be a key to the series. So I'm liking him so far. I was like 99% sure it was Wagner Moore voicing him when I first heard him, but then had to do that last check because he's probably big enough to not be doing this.
It's an interesting. I mean, generally the show has quite interesting voice casts, but when they put it the cast and said Wagner Moore was in it, I was like,
it's not often that you have one of the most recent Academy Award nominees as
in
a
a
voice actor
Star
in your
Wars
animated show,
animated series,
especially Star Wars, which
maybe
to go get the big guys.
Yeah, maybe he likes Star Wars and it's a like a great deal because he just likes Star Wars.
He just likes Star Wars. What a crazy notion!
Yeah, could be. What do you also? I was going to ask that, but not really character, but what do you think of Maul's droid?
The spybot, who's like super horny for for spying. Yeah. Enjoying it so far.
I'm enjoying it too.
Also, he's kind of weirdly treating it like a pet, like he's patting it when he's back in the lair. So, something a little bit different. Yeah, it's like he's got like a weird spy kink, I think. Very excited for bad things to happen.
I really enjoyed also just the way that highway chase sequence played out. I think that was probably my favorite part from the 2 episodes. I know it was early in episode 2, but just, I mean, the whole like escape and the whole raid thing was cool, obviously, to get to see Maul go wild and a bunch of people and shit like that. But the whole way that then escape plays out, and then you obviously get to see the Jedi like prove himself. It's like, yes, he's still got some grunt in there. I mean, it's only a year after Order 66, so I guess he isn't like full Obi-Wan, forgot how to do everything.
Disconnected from the Force, whatever.
Disconnected from the Force, so that sort of makes sense. But that was just a really cool scene. I liked very like big action movie type thing with Maul just coming out and like evil eyeing, and then the cops all pulling in, and just then pulling down the highway to make his escape and everything. I really enjoyed the way.
That
Good sequence, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else from these 2 episodes?
I enjoyed Lottie, what we saw of him, the crime lord. I thought I didn't realize he was in a mech suit at first. But then revealed that he is this tiny dude who is in charge of a crime syndicate. I think it's quite a fun reveal, so that's cool. I guess a lot of questions of where we're going forward with this. Is this a Breaking Bad thing where we're going to see Maul go further down the dark side? Well, I guess more the case is Devon going to be drawn to the darkness and that kind of thing, or is
I'd presume so.
She's going to be fighting against it all season.
I don't know if she'll commit, but I mean, we're definitely her storyline set up to see her at least become tempted by it, and that's going to be part of her story, I presume. I mean, there's no, obviously you don't hear or see anything about Maul with an apprentice later down the line, so, but you can't say yes or no, but I don't know. He technically has another apprentice out there, but whether or not he knows,
that everybody wants to see.
Yeah, so we shall see. And then I think the other thing is obviously the Empire is going to have to show up eventually. I just don't think you can continue.
Well, we've already been promised Inquisitors, so
yeah. So Inquisitors will get sent down presumably because word gets out about seeing Jedi powers. Not Maul, I don't think. I think it'll just be because of the Jedi. Maul's an interesting case in that I honestly just think Sidious is quite happy to, well, not happy, but like sort of let his, like almost like a plaything, like let's see what he can do, sort of thing. And the Inquisitors will be sent down to find the Jedi reports of Jedi. Yeah, because he's not Jedi. So Inquisitors will come down for the Jedi report, I reckon, and then maybe then later in the season you see like full Empire come down to take over but it'll be interesting because you'll have the Inquisitors dealing with that. You'll have Maul and the Jedi. I keep forgetting his name. I'm not going to look it up. You'll have him dealing with they're both sides dealing with the Inquisitor potentially, which is interesting because they're both on opposite sides, but they both got to deal with the Inquisitor. And then you'll have to see the Captain Wagner Mora deal with the Empire coming in, butting into the police station later, I guess. Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Run around his city, causing all sorts of trouble.
Yeah. And then Maul eventually build up to his Crimson Dawn, I guess, by the end of the season. And I guess if they do more seasons, which I believe they said they're already doing a second one, I think. So, I guess future seasons would be more just the crime focused stuff and then what's going on when Cribs is there. Like if this first season is going to be the rise of
the next season is like the day-to-day running of Crimson
Dawn, I guess. I mean, eventually they got to like, because the whole thing is, remember in Solo, he's running it from the shadows because he's the Shadow Lord, and he has Dyson Vosk, whatever. Anyway, Paul Bettany's character, running it as the figurehead. So yeah.
Got to establish that, and then I assume you have to explain the downfall of why he's not running it when we see him the last time.
Yeah, which I don't know if they'll time jump. I guess between seasons they could jump around a bit if they wanted to, obviously. So anyway, intrigued, happy to keep watching. We'll see what happens as we go ahead. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Lords of the yes, I know. Sorry, Legacy of the Shadow Lord. Every new time I had a show, I have to remember the fucking name. Legacy of the Shadow Lord. Of course, you can check out all our other podcasts on ExplosionNetwork.com, as well as other fun things over there, like articles, news, and fun things. And if you want to support the show, you can do it at ExplosionNetwork.com/support. And until next week, remember that a double-sided lightsaber is better than single-sided.